Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here, again, spokesman and advocate, basic human rights for all people. In the celebration of Dr. King's Day celebration, January 15th, 2018. You know, this is what we call an honor, respect that's given to a man who committed his life for such a wonderful cause. And the result, as we can see it, I'd like to reflect on it just for a second. It would make me feel real good if I could tell you that Dr. King is so proud of the streets that have been named after him, the organizations that have still tried to find some way to be attached with the name Dr. King, for those who have seen laws changed throughout the land in the spirit of Dr. King, and most of all, this great holiday for Dr. King. I think Dr. King would trade all of this in just for the people of the world, the people of America, the people here in Minnesota, could be treated with respect and dignity. If the people of this great country could walk around and not have to worry about being killed by cops, if the people of this great nation could walk around and live every day not having to worry about poverty and the results of it, crime and violence, I think that Dr. King would be so amazed if these kinds of things were the realities of the day. But as we honor Dr. King here today, we find out that not only have these things not happened, but that we have gone back to the place where we were in the beginning. And the President of the United States is evidence of that. There was a time that we didn't know, at least the President of the United States didn't make it so plain of how he felt, but now we have a president who does just that, and we have a Congress that is supporting that. I don't think Dr. King would feel that this holiday thing means anything, has any value, as long as these kinds of attitudes happen, as long as these things concur. But ladies and gentlemen, it is my duty, it is my responsibility to at least give you some idea of why it happens. It happens because in reality, the game never changed. They just switched it and played it in a different context. And so all of the things that were being alleged before were continuously happening, but it was camouflage to make you think that things were okay. But we should have known that when we said that in order to make some things right about the evils of the past was to grab some white people and hold them back and let a few black people go in their stead. In other words, now we're willing to spread the suffering around a little bit. We should have known that if Dr. King had been alive, he would have told us that was not the solution, that was not the answer. But instead, we were able to continue to perpetuate a lying lie. And it has evolved in a full circle, and here we are today. But it could happen at no greater time than this. We as American people, we see exactly what this has been. We see exactly the lie of the past. We see the path in which we've traveled by looking at what we have right before us right now. We have a president who lies on both sides of the coin, so whatever the result is, he ends up saying he was a winner because he told the truth on that side. And the other side he just disowns. And we think that that's normal. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest time for all of us to see that the only way that this president could get away with the things that he has been getting away with is because we the people are just like this president. We are just like this president. This president makes it known that he doesn't care about black people or people of other races. Now you have pretended that you do, but in reality you don't. That's why he has been able to come as far as he has. But now that he stood up and said it, and it's just rolling all across the whole community, everybody want to disown it. Well, it wasn't me. I'm better than that. No, ladies and gentlemen, you pretended as if you were better than that. To be better than that means that you will take whatever initiative, you will join with it to make sure that that possibility cannot exist. Why? Because the curses of it, you would make sure that they're eliminated. You would go right back to that cancer, and by George, like a surgeon, you'd cut it out from that heartstring and it will exist no more. That's if you were any different. But how many of you are willing to go back and do a surgical? How many of you are willing to go back and change what has been established that promotes this type of situation in everyday life for every people, not just here in America, but across the globe? How many of you are willing to do that? I guess all of you would like to say you are, but you want to say, I'm sure, that it takes time. It doesn't take time. Look, when we have gone full circle, we've gone through time. We see now. The question is, are we going to walk by faith? Are we going to pretend and keep on walking on the same path like it's going to get us somewhere? We see where it has gotten us. Now look, on Dr. King's birthday this time, I have said to the people of the state of Minnesota that I would love to serve this population in replacement of Al Franken. My purpose is to make a difference, not just in Minnesota. And when I say make a difference, I speak and advocate for basic human rights. What are those basic human rights? Every human being in Minnesota, every human being on the face of the earth have the primary, the number one right for survival. For survival. We're here. We're here. Every last one of us are here. And we need to make sure that survival is met. We got our body, we got all of the things that comes with it that make it work right. It's working in tune. Now there are some things that we have to do outside that's governed by we the people. And that is to produce that which is essential for our outside for survival. Food, clothing, and shelter. Education and health care. And we guarantee that to ourselves according to the Spirit of truth by engaging our gifts. Each of us got something to do. Yes, you know, sometimes we say, oh, here's a genius over here. Here's somebody that's great. Their talents make them magnificent. Sometimes we say their talent is established or brought into the knowledge of humankind, electricity to be used for lights and all the great discoveries that have been made. And it's absolutely true, ladies and gentlemen. And it was given for the purpose for which it has been used for, not to be limited by anything. Now, because we don't walk according to the truth, but rather a lie that says we are not equal, a lie that says some of us are more important than others, a lie that needs to be supported by using and abusing others. And that's the lie we've been walking to, and we perpetuate that by the usage of money. You don't need money except to lie and to cheat. Because if you're doing your gift, that is your direct contribution. That's your direct contribution. This is the thing that gives you purpose in life. And it's just as important as anybody else, regardless of what it is. Then we can't do without it. And so by giving it, by doing it, we create everything. It comes together like a finished puzzle. The food, the shelter, the education, the health care, and every last one of us got a job. And the finished product is the peace and the prosperity and the joy and the fulfillment of your dreams. As simple as that. Jesus told you that. And he said that that way of doing it is so important that if anybody tell you that if you join their wagon, you can get it and you don't have to remember the statement, it is more easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into heaven. Some people say, yes, that's how you know that a rich man, well, the rich man asks, good master, what is it that I must do to enter the kingdom of heaven? He said, go get rid of everything you got, sell it, get rid of it, and give it to the poor. In other words, my friends, what you've been riding on, money, what you thought has been God is not God. And now that you think you face God, you'll understand the unimportance of money and you will reduce it to nothing. And you walk by faith on the principles of God. And that way you will white out every cancer you run across. Now, that's just the way I see it. So when I speak to you, Minnesotans, I'm telling you what I'm trying to do. If I go to Washington, I'm going to do the same thing to those politicians. They don't know any better. They don't know any better. They bought into a system that said that this is okay. But I need your support. In order to do that, I want you to write my name on the ballot. I will not be running as a Republican or Democrat. I will not be on the ballot. I'm asking you, if you believe in this, to write my name, to separate yourself by doing this, writing my name. And it might be enough of us for me to get into Washington. By George, wouldn't that be a heavenly blessing? But it might not. And it might just mean that there are two of us who believe like this. But don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid. It's fantastic. And one day, we will all recognize the truth. I was thinking about a commercial I heard on TV the other day. Let me speed this up right fast. They were talking about the new cars. And these cars are going to be connected, computerized, where you can work with your home while you're riding in it, and it's driving itself. And it can tell your house how long it's going to take before you get there. They can turn on the heat and all that kind of stuff. Then they talked about the price, and I thought about it myself. I said, well, they definitely didn't make it for a part of people of this civilization, because they'd never be able to afford it. Then I thought about, on the other hand, when they made that mistake, they said, in Hawaii, by pushing the wrong button, and everybody started running. Can you imagine? I know you can imagine what it must have been like to think that doomsday was on its way, and you didn't know how much time you had. All of a sudden, everything that was important crossed your mind. You thought about, I'm sure, your kids. You thought about your parents. I'm sure you thought about your, well, your neighbors next door, or and maybe your pet. But the next thing you were thinking about is where to go, how to get there, and hope you had enough time to do just that. Things that weren't important. Your car wasn't important. Your house wasn't important. All the stuff that you had in that house wasn't important. Your bank account was not important. Wasn't nothing important, but can I get behind some kind of rock and hide? Now, why does something like that have to happen? Thank God Almighty, it was just a fake call. What if it had been real? Well, think about it. What if it is real? Do all that stuff that you left behind matter? If it didn't matter then, it doesn't matter now. And anything that sets it up and make it appear to matter need to be thought about. We need to look at it again. Revisit it. And I guarantee you, you can find some way to fix it. That's what I'm taking to the people. So Washington, look out. And I got some great news after getting to Washington about the next move. I want to thank you so very much for giving me this, your time on Dr. King's date of celebration, 2018. This is Eddie Marcus once again saying bye-bye.